Let me explain. The current American education states African Americans were brought to America as slaves from Africa, which is simply not true. They are American indigenous, not descendants of Africans. As they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. Although this fact isn't spoken of openly, it's not a secret. However, with programming such as Roots, 12 Years a Slave, The African American Story, and The Book of Negroes, is it any wonder why so many African Americans are confused? We won't address all the misleading DNA tests being provided to connect African Americans to Africa. So, the argument is, do they continue identifying as African Americans, which is a fake identity for them, or embrace being identified as Indigenous Americans?
Are there any consequences of choosing one identity over the other?
William, that's a good question. According to African Americans Ain't Africans Facebook forum, identifying as African American is to quietly relinquish ancestral connections to America, connections that go back hundreds of thousands of years. A curious story, but one appropriate for February, which is Black History Month in the United States.
I think you're not supposed to say Indian either. No way, really? Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans. I think you're not supposed to say Indian either. No way, really? Yeah. I think you're supposed to call them African Americans.
I'm going to try to stay extremely mild with this topic because it is so deep. It can take forever. Okay? So, as you can see, this topic is a very hot topic on social media. And I'm going to get on it because I'm going to break a few things down that people are not talking about. Now, Russia's real name is Tartaria. And the reason why is because Russia is on the lands of the Tartaria civilization. When they invaded Tartaria, they ended up calling it Russia after the invasion. Now, who is the Tartarians? They are the Titans. Who is the Titans? Every black and brown person you see globally. They are the primordial beings, the Netta. Now, as you can see, Russia just opened up their cellar that had books of black people. As you can see, they're behind closed doors worshiping who? You. While they got you looking outside of yourself, worshiping some white man. Y'all need to understand this is bigger than what you think. Russia is sitting on tons of knowledge, tons of books that comes from the Tartaria civilization, which is our ancient civilization. Everybody that you see in these books is all black. You don't see a blue-eyed person in sight. See, they know who you are. That's why they worship you behind closed doors. But they got you looking outside of yourself, keeping you confused and in a state of confusion, looking for some savior when you are the Christ, the anointed one. We're talking about a bloodline of primordial beings. Every black and brown person you see that is in this entire realm are the anointed ones. They are the Christ. And these people know that. We were considered the sacrificial lamb. They sacrificed our civilizations, our people, in order for their kind to live in this realm and to survive. They made our heaven into a hell and made our heaven their heaven. We was the ones, the Christ, that they had to sacrifice. Who you think they hung on trees? In the Old Testament, it tells you that they were hung on trees. It wasn't a cross, it was a tree. But in the New Testament, they say that it was a cross. It was your ancestors who died on a tree that they call the cross, that they hung on the cross, hung on the trees. our people was the sacrificial lamb, because they had to sacrifice us in order for them to survive in our realm. I need y'all to understand this is deeper than you will ever know. And the reason why all of this information is starting to come out is because we are in revelation. Revelation just means revealing what's hidden. So everything that is hidden is coming to the front. Ain't nothing gonna be left hidden. The truth will prevail. And it's coming out. Just a heads up. I'm not here for the dead. I am only here for the awakened.